Hey everybody, and thanks for watching Woodcrest Bonsai. Today I want to talk about adventitious buds. And adventitious buds are defined as buds that are dormant along a trunk that will sprout if the tree gets damaged. And the damage, quote unquote, when we're growing bonsai is when you cut a tree way back. So there are buds along the trunk that will sprout with virtually any tree except for pines and juniper. You cannot do this with pines and junipers and expect them to resprout. And in fact, you can kill them. So those are the two exceptions. Pines and junipers do not have adventitious buds. But most of the rest of the plant world, trees have, or even the shrubs that we use, have adventitious buds because it's a survival technique. If the tree gets severely damaged, buds will sprout along the trunk to try to keep the tree from dying completely. Today I've got 3 of the quote-unquote premature bonsai potted Ficus nervifolia that I did just the other week. I did a video on chopping them way back, and I basically treated them as if they were just in training, which they were, even though they're in bonsai pots. But now, like on this one here, we see that I left this branch low as a sacrifice branch, and those darker green leaves are all the old growth, and then I left a little tuft on top. But look at all the new growth that has occurred along the trunk. Sprouted just everywhere. So then that gives me the opportunity to start creating branching. Now this tree is pretty straight, but so if I want a branch right here, I've got 3 different sprouts to choose from. And then I would probably choose a second main branch right here. So once again, this sprout is perfectly placed. And then once I've chosen which one of these I want for the first main branch, and if this one's going to be the second main branch, then all the rest of these come off. And usually the sooner the better. I can also save one in the back for a back branch. So that's really the beauty of these adventitious buds, is they give you the opportunity to place your branches almost exactly where you want them. And I have 2 other narrow leaf ficus that I did basically at the same time, and they've responded in a couple different ways. So here's the next one, and it responded off of this fairly new growth here with just a whole tuft of new growth like this. But if we zoom in again, you see all kind of adventitious buds sprouted along the main trunk. Now, because one of the biggest rules of bonsai is that your first main branch should be 1/3 of the way up the tree, and there should be no other foliage or branching below that, all of this is going to come off. But I just wanted to show you how readily ficus sprout like that. And then we've got one more after I put the tripod down. And this one was just a stick. I didn't leave any new growth or old growth. And once again, adventitious buds. Let me even bring it up like this. Adventitious buds just all up and down the trunk. And we can see this tree has the motion that I like, which is why I cut it back to here. So we've got the tree that comes like this, and then up like this, and then the apex will come this way and branching. And once again, we've got perfectly placed new bud that broke from old wood that would be the first main branch. And then the second main branch right here too. And all this lower stuff all comes off. So that's part of the process of cutting things back and getting these buds to sprout off of old wood, is you're probably only going to use 1 or 2, maybe 3. Once again, is there a guy in the back that I can use as a back branch. Little tiny one right there. But still, that will elongate and form a back branch. And I've got another example, which is not a ficus. This is actually a Suriname cherry, and I probably need to back up a little bit for this guy because he's taller. Although I still do want to zoom in. So imagine, I dug this out of the ground because I have a large tree that drops a lot of seed, and the seedlings, when they germinate in the ground, then I will dig them out of the ground and start training them as bonsai. Okay, imagine nothing on here except the trunk and this leader right here. So you see the chop, and unfortunately the chop has a crack in it, which was not perfect. But so I cut this tree. If you extrapolate the thickness of the trunk up, this tree was about 3 feet high. So I cut this tree where it was nothing except the trunk and this leader right here. And it had no foliage either. And then what happened was all the adventitious buds started to break. We've got some way low that are totally unnecessary for the design because this is going to be my first main branch. My thought was to try to get some branching in here and then have this leader. I hope you can see that. Maybe I need to bring the camera higher. Whoop. But what happened was this leader, which was really very thin, did nothing, and all these sprouts popped. And I really thought the leader was dead, but I did the scratch test where I scratched the bark and the cambium was still green, so I said, okay. But now if you notice, there's another leader virtually coming from exactly the same place, and this is the leader that the tree wants to go with. This guy right here. And then there's 3 more buds that have elongated much more than the rest. So this tree is got some apical dominance, so it wants to grow up. These lower buds aren't going to do much, and especially I'm going to cut them off. But another example of adventitious buds, this thing was just bare stalk. So now I have a decision to make. Do I keep the original leader that I wanted? Or, see, I could bring this guy right into here, the new one, and you're talking about, it's virtually the same angle, same thickness, but it's more vigorous because it's new growth versus this older growth. So I have yet to decide that. And I still think this guy needs to strengthen a little bit, so right now I'm not going to take any of these lower buds off either. Let it strengthen a little bit, and I will do that at a later date. So like this ficus here, I can take these lower buds off of this one like within the next day or two. I'm not going to do it now because I don't have my gloves. And ficus, you could rub these off with your fingers, but then my fingers would get totally full of ficus sap, and I just hate that. It's just sticky and nasty. And then, last but not least, I'm going to show you the bald cypress. I guess I'll turn the camera off and I'll just go over there because I don't feel like lifting it up. This is the bald cypress that I started working on this spring, and I will show you some screenshots of those videos, and also I'll give you a chance to go and watch the entire video if you choose. And I took a whole bunch of the old branches off, and I only kept 2, and those are this one here and this one here. All the rest of this is adventitious buds that have sprouted, and as you can see, it's just sprouted like crazy. And then I let the leader grow like crazy, and then I cut it back, and then I let this leader grow like crazy, and I cut it back. So now we're really starting to get the kind of form that I'm looking for. And every single branch from these two lower main branches, as you'll see in the pictures, was a bud that broke off of old wood. So that's the beauty of adventitious buds. You have to know your material. Some plants are more prone at breaking off of old wood than others, and as I said, pine trees and junipers will not do this, so you've got to treat them completely differently. But that's it for this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and you'll be able to watch all of these guys continue to develop as I add update videos. And leave a comment if you'd like. So that's it for this video, just a short video on adventitious buds and how to take advantage of them to create even better bonsai. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.